It usually happens late at night. A screen lights up with a vaguely worded text message, or you find yourself replaying a lingering glance from earlier in the day, wondering if they are actually interested or if you are entirely misreading the situation. The human brain is notoriously unreliable when it comes to decoding subtle social signals. We struggle to process objective reality when our own emotions and anxieties are involved. Because of this, we constantly fall into two distinct traps. We either mistake basic friendly politeness for romantic flirting, or, paralyzed by the fear of rejection, we ignore genuine cues of attraction entirely. Bypassing this ambiguity requires stepping back from our emotions and applying a methodical approach, a pattern recognition framework. This diagram shows how the framework operates. Instead of agonizing over isolated, confusing events, like a single awkward conversation, we track aggregate behavior over time. We map individual data points until they form a recognizable shape. Reliable conclusions depend on the emergence of a high-probability behavioral cluster, rather than any single isolated moment. The first data points to map are the passive variables. These begin with a baseline shift. We measure a person's default personality around a general group and compare it to their specific behavior when you enter the room. If a naturally reserved person suddenly becomes highly animated around you, they are unconsciously adjusting their baseline. A sudden shift in mood or talkativeness is not enough evidence on its own. They might simply be having an off day or reacting to outside stress, which is why we need more data. We track spatial awareness with this schematic. Notice the body vector and dashed line of sight. An admirer points their torso toward you, locking into a subconscious orbit, drifting closer. But when you turn, the sightline snaps away, creating nervous, interrupted eye contact. When they do manage to look at you, watch for an involuntary smile. A polite, forced social expression relies entirely on the mouth, but a genuine grin engages the upper facial muscles and the eyes, reflecting a biological spike in excitement. These four passive variables, baseline shifts, spatial orbit, broken gazes, and genuine smiles, happen automatically. They represent the subconscious mind leaking romantic intent long before the conscious mind is ready to act. From passive observation, the framework moves to active engagement. Deliberate behaviors require effort, starting with an engagement test, where an admirer actively provides compliments and close attention. You can measure this investment with a subtle disengagement trick. Mid-conversation, intentionally distract yourself by packing up your bag, writing something down, or turning towards someone else in the group. A purely polite acquaintance will take the social out and let the conversation die. A highly invested admirer will actively fight to keep the interaction alive, asking questions to regain your focus. We must still account for alternative explanations. The person carrying the conversation might just have a highly extroverted personality and a desire to talk to anyone who will listen. To filter out simple extroversion, look at this calendar grid. The ultimate currency of attraction is time. When existing appointments actively delete themselves from a schedule so they can accept your invitations, they are demonstrating deliberate resource allocation. They maximize that cleared schedule by initiating unsolicited contact. Reaching out first, through text or a call, is a direct investment to maintain communication. Consistently sacrificing and restructuring personal resources to prioritize time signals a level of investment that exceeds social politeness. By combining the passive and active variables, the probability of romantic interest becomes statistically significant. If 4 to 6 of these specific nodes pulse together in your interactions, the likelihood of hidden attraction is high. Yet, the pattern recognition framework has a distinct limitation. Perfect mind reading does not exist. Relying purely on behavioral science and body language can trap you in a perpetual state of observation. You can spend months collecting data points, terrified of rejection, without ever seeking direct confirmation. Analyzing these behavioral patterns provides a foundation of evidence to build personal confidence before acting. Once the evidence confirms a high probability of attraction, you have to step out of observation and step into vulnerability. That means sitting down and asking a direct, respectful question about where the relationship is going. The unspoken language of behavioral patterns can accurately reveal the possibility of attraction, but only the spoken language of vulnerability can transform that data into a real human connection.